Let's run around the league and track down some of the key matchups that could define some of these games this weekend using some of the tools that are available for you for free up at sharpfootballstats.com. This is a tool at the website that's not public yet, but does look at the metrics that are on the website and compare with the strength of schedule, which you can see in these columns here. But right now, let's go ahead and take a look at the pass rush efficiency that the New Orleans Saints have faced so far this year. So far this year, they've played teams that rank very poorly in pass rush efficiency. Overall, it's one of the easier schedules in the league. It's the third easiest schedule in the league in terms of the defenses that they've played and their strength of pass rushing. Right here, the best team they played was the Cleveland Browns. They played Cleveland with Tyrod Taylor in New Orleans, and the Saints barely won that game on a last-minute field goal there. And they were the 15th ranked pass rush. Now they have to go on the road and face the Baltimore Ravens, who have the number 2 ranked pass rush. A very difficult ask for the New Orleans Saints offensive line to get enough protection for Drew Brees to have a lot of success against the Baltimore Ravens. You scroll down a little bit, and let's look at the Baltimore Ravens. They're the 6th most pass-heavy team in the league, and they're going up against a defense that ranks 30th against the pass. The strength of the Saints is down here defending the run. The weakness of the Saints is defending the pass. And the Baltimore Ravens have played a very difficult schedule, the 3rd most difficult schedule of opposing pass defenses so far this year. You can look at where those defenses rank. And now they get to face at home the New Orleans Saints, the 30th ranked defense. This is their weakness. So I think we could have some edges for Joe Flacco in this passing game, albeit temper them slightly due to some wins, but that could be potentially a good matchup to look at on Sunday afternoon. Another matchup to look at is the NFC East battle between the Redskins and the Cowboys. You can see both these teams are more run-heavy than the league average and want to establish the run. But the Washington Redskins offense has played a very difficult schedule of run defenses overall. But in particular, so far this year, they've played 2 very difficult run defenses, the Saints and the Colts. Both of those teams are the only 2 that they face that rank inside the top 10. And against the New Orleans Saints, the starters, AP only gained 1.5 yards per carry and a 25% success rate. Chris Thompson gained 2.1 yards per carry and a 38% success rate. And then when they played the Indianapolis Colts back in week 2, they only gained 3.0 yards per carry and a 41% success rate as a team. So it's going to be very difficult to envision the Washington Redskins having a lot of success against the Dallas Cowboys' 5th ranked run defense, which is a surprisingly strong run defense, albeit playing slightly easier strength of opponent. That being said, it's going to be difficult for the Redskins to do a lot because now they're getting Sean Lee back. So I think this is going to be a game that the Redskins are going to have to rely a little bit more on Alex Smith. And if Jay Gruden decides to still continue running the ball too much, that would be at a big detriment for their ability to win this game at home. They're going to have to do some damage through the air against the Dallas Cowboys. Next, let's skip ahead to an interesting tweet that I thought was pretty awesome. Right now, the yards per carry leaderboard, and I said minimum of 20 attempts. Guess what? Most of these guys have upwards of 70 attempts. So minimum 20. You could actually relax that a little bit with the exception of Aaron Jones, who obviously was out for the first couple of games so far this season. But like Breida and Crowell and Lindsey all have right around 70 attempts. Yards per carry leaderboard. These players with the asterisk all were undrafted. And Aaron Jones was a 5th round player. So these literally are the top 5 players in yards per carry so far this season. Absolutely incredible to get this much production out of running backs that weren't even drafted. You didn't have to spend a single cent of draft equity to obtain these players, and you're getting quality production when you give the football to these players. So this was a tweet basically saying that you don't need to go and get these top picks to have a good running game. And most of these teams are having success utilizing these players on the ground, and they don't need to just put so much money and commodity into these high draft picks at running back who A, will cost a lot, B, prevent you from opportunity cost of getting another player that would contribute more often. So I thought this was really cool and definitely wanted to make something bigger about this and share it on this video. It really is amazing that the Minnesota Vikings pass defense has fallen off as much as it has, but if you look at their ranks right now, they rank 25th in the league against the 28th easiest schedule, or 28th most difficult schedule, so the 5th easiest. They somehow have played the 3 rookie quarterbacks, or by the end of this Sunday, they will have played the 3 rookie quarterbacks drafted and starting. They played Josh Allen, they played Josh Rosen, and now they're going to play Sam Darnold. So 3 rookie quarterbacks that they're going to be facing here. And that's extremely lucky. That's why they're playing one of the easier schedules, yet they rank extremely poorly. And one of the things that I think that people need to consider about Sam Darnold is the strength and the caliber of the opposing pass defenses that he has faced. So if we scroll down here, you can see that Sam Darnold has played some ridiculously strong pass defenses, and particularly this stretch where he played the Miami Dolphins at home and then went on the road in back-to-back weeks against the Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars. He did not fare very well in those games from a passing efficiency standpoint. His highest completion rate in those 2 games right here against the Browns and the Jaguars was 50%. He didn't pass for more than 170 yards in either of those 2 games, and obviously struggled against these defenses. But if you look at the pass defense that he faced against the Lions, he completed 76% of his passes in a 117 passer rating. When he played the Colts last week at home, he completed 80% of his passes with a 114 passer rating, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception in each of those games. Now he gets to face the Minnesota Vikings, who are going to be without cornerback Mike Hughes. The only issue, of course, is the health of their receiving core, given the fact that they're going to be out without Quincy Enunwa, and they're going to have to promote basically Jermaine Kearse. And the difficulty in this game in terms of predicting a lot of success for the Jets passing offense is the wins. The key to Robbie Anderson's game is his deep explosive passing, and you can see that the Vikings rank 30th in the league defending explosive passes, so that should be a big edge for the Jets. The problem is the average wind speeds that are looking to occur in New York on Sunday afternoon. I'm seeing from some of my best apps 17 miles per hour sustained with 29 max gusts, 29 mile per hour max gusts. That is not conducive at all to a longer passing a game. So I think that really hurts Robbie Anderson's upside here, but it remains to be seen. It's Friday afternoon. Let's see what the actual wind speeds are for Sunday, but I've been checking the wind speeds throughout the course of the entire week, something you should be doing at this time of year, especially on the East Coast. And unfortunately, these wind speeds have been projected since Monday, and every single day they've remained the same. So we'll see what the forecast is looking like by Sunday, but right now it doesn't look ideal. But just something to keep in mind. This is a really good matchup. We'll see how the winds happen to affect it. In a big NFC battle, we've got the Carolina Panthers playing the Philadelphia Eagles. And the most intriguing matchup in this entire game, in my opinion, is what happens when Carolina runs the football against this Eagles defense, which ranks as a very good run defense. Because Carolina is the most run-heavy team in the league, as you can see here. They want to run, they like to run, and the Philadelphia Eagles are the second toughest run defense that they face. But look at all these other run defenses that they've played the last few weeks. Carolina's played the Falcons, the Bengals, the Giants, and the Redskins. All these teams rank well below average in terms of run defense. Boom, here's a big-time challenge for them, the Philadelphia Eagles. But actually the same can be said on the Eagles side of the ball. If you look at the strength of the run offenses that the Philadelphia Eagles have faced, look at how terrible the rushing attacks have been that they've played. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts cannot run the ball for anything. Neither can the Minnesota Vikings. The Tennessee Titans are struggling mightily, although Marcus Mariota really had a very productive game running the football as a quarterback against the Carolina Panthers. So that's going to be an interesting matchup with what Cam Newton is able to do here. But overall, they've played the easiest schedule of opposing rushing offenses. Now they have to play the third-ranked schedule of the third-ranked opponent in the Carolina Panthers. So big challenge for the Eagles defense, big challenge for the Carolina Panthers offense. I can't wait to see how this particular battle goes, because if Carolina is unable to run the ball, that's going to be a big problem offensively for them. They're going to have to go a lot more pass heavy, and they do not like to do that. But if they are able to run the ball, That's going to open up the pass game even more, because a lot of the concepts that Carolina utilizes successfully when they run the football do put extra pressure on that secondary, and they can build in a lot of things off of that. And the Philadelphia Eagles, their weakness this year so far has been their play at the secondary. So it's going to be vital for them to have success on the ground so that they don't become too one-dimensional. And I can't wait to see how that matchup unfolds. This is from the personnel grouping page, which you can find on sharpfootballstats.com. And one of the interesting things about this Carolina Panthers Philadelphia Eagles matchup is the personnel groupings that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to use. Because if you take a look at Carolina Panthers defense, and the color coding indicates good defense and bad defense. Bad defense is the brighter orange color. Good defense, they're not allowing very much success. That's the darker blue / purplish color. So if you go to Carolina, you can see that they only allow a 44% success rate to passes from 11 personnel. That's 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. They're very good there. But they're significantly worse against 12 personnel, allowing a 59% success rate on 32 pass attempts, 9.6 yards per attempt. Very bad compared to 6.5. They're allowing 3 more yards per attempt to 12 personnel than they are to 11. Now we can switch right over to the offense page, and instead of looking at efficiency, let's go ahead and just look at frequency. And that's what the blue indicates here. Is the darker the shade of blue, the more frequent a personnel grouping is utilized. Go down and look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They only use 11 personnel 55% of the time. Guess what you won't see on here? A team that utilizes 11 personnel less than the Philadelphia Eagles. The league average is 72% usage. Philadelphia is here at 55%. What they use a lot of is 12 personnel. 37% of their passes come from 12 personnel, the most in the league, the highest rate in the league, over double the league average. So I'm looking to see how well Carolina is going to defend 12 personnel on Sunday. Most intriguing to me in terms of the matchups, and one of the biggest matchups I think that I'm not hearing enough people talk about, is the pass rush of the Patriots and how this is going to impact the Chicago Bears. And I think in order to understand that context a little bit better, you should look at the schedule. And right here you can see that while the New England Patriots pass rush has faced the 8th most difficult schedule of opponents, they rank 30th in the league. So here they are at 30th. And the Chicago Bears have played a brutal schedule of pass rushes to start the season. The first 3 weeks they played pass rushes that all ranked 12th or better. The last few games rather, with the bye, they've played pass rushes that rank well below average, some of the worst in the league. And now here comes the New England Patriots that rank 3rd worst in the league. Now, what difference could that possibly make for Mitchell Trubisky? Well, if we flip over here to the quarterback game log, which you can also find up at Sharp Football Stats, you will notice that the first 3 weeks of the season was very difficult for Mitchell Trubisky against those tough pass rushes. His passing yardage was bad. 220 was his high. Look at his yards per attempt. 6.3, 5.9, 4.5. Terrible from that perspective. Terrible passer rating. And one of the keys is, look at what he was doing when he threw the ball to the deep left. Okay, when he threw the ball to the deep left, he did not have very much success. He had 2 attempts week 3, 1 attempt week 2, and 1 attempt in week 1, and didn't complete a single one of those attempts to the deep left. He's facing very difficult pass rushes. Remember, top 12 pass rushes. Jump ahead to the last 2 games where he's facing the 27th and the 29th ranked pass rushes. Suddenly, he's throwing the ball 6 times deep left, completing 4 of them, 19.7 yards per pass attempt and a touchdown against the Bucs in week 4. Last week down in Miami, he completed 3 of 5 attempts, averaged 24.4 yards per attempt on those pass plays. What is this high productivity, good success rates on these, and deep explosive plays giving him? Well, it's giving him a lot higher yards per attempt. 10.2, 13.6. He's hit over 300 passing yards in each of those games. Very efficient in terms of his completion rate as well. High success rate. So what we're seeing is, and look at this touchdown and interception rate. 9 touchdowns to 1 interception against the teams that can't rush him. Against the teams that rush him, 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So a complete switch from playing good pass rushes to bad pass rushes. Now he goes up against the New England Patriots that rank 30th in the league, the easiest pass rush that Trubisky has faced to date. I can't wait to see what Bill Belichick tries to take away from the Chicago Bears offense this week. I think that's going to be a massively interesting decision for him to make. I think the Bears are going to have a lot of success running the football as well. So I'm looking forward to see what New England tries to do defensively to counter that. They had a lot of success down in the red zone last week against the Kansas City Chiefs. But will that success carry over onto the road? And if it does, what does Matt Nagy and this Bears offense try to do to counter it after seeing his mentor in Andy Reid not have a lot of success there? So I think the red zone for the Bears is going to be fascinating, as will the pass protection. Be on the lookout to see how much time Mitch Trubisky has to throw the ball and whether or not he has the time to complete some of these deep passes down the field. LA Chargers taking on the Tennessee Titans over in London, and I think if you got a run game that can travel, it's going to be able to travel hopefully for the Chargers overseas. And they're taking on the Tennessee Titans, whose weakness defensively is against the run. They rank 23rd versus the Chargers' 5th ranked rushing offense. And you could see the 23rd is still one of the worst run defenses that the LA Chargers will have faced so far this year. But the Titans ranked 23rd against the 31st strength of schedule, meaning the second most easiest run offenses. And you can see that a little bit more better detail down here. When they have to play the Chargers, who rank 5th, that's a big step up in terms of the caliber of the rushing offense than the Tennessee Titans defense is going to face. They've played a lot of very easy teams to run that aren't able to run the football nearly as effectively as the LA Chargers are. So I think that's going to be a big step up. Then conversely, I'm going to flip over here to another page on Sharp Football Stats, which is called Run versus Pass Performance by Down. And you can actually find that if you go into the offense menu and you drop down to play frequency, down towards the bottom is Run versus Pass Performance by Down. And what we'll note here is only in Marcus Mariota's games, the team is 8.8 yards per pass attempt and a 53% success rate when they throw the ball on first down with Marcus Mariota. But they choose to run the ball 58% of the time. Now, this is well above the league average of 43%. They're at 58% run. Those runs are gaining only a 43% success rate, 10% worse than the first down run passes that Mariota is throwing. 3.4 yards per carry versus 8.8 yards per carry. His rating hasn't been great. He has tossed some interceptions, but the bottom line is much more efficient when they pass the football on first down than when they run the football, and yet they're running the ball 15% above the league average. It makes no sense. They're well below average in terms of yards per carry and success rate when they run the football on first down. So I'm hearing talk about how Mike Vrabel looks at analytics. I'm also hearing talk about some people think that Mike Vrabel is like a Bill Belichick disciple who's so good with decision making just because that they had that fake punt against the the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Houston Texans rather, where they didn't even cover the gunner. I mean, obvious opportunity to throw the ball. I have no idea if that was actually a called play ahead of time or not, but that's just a total mix-up defensively to not cover that gunner. And the Tennessee Titans threw the pass there, and the guy scored a touchdown. Apart from that play, I really haven't seen offensively what he's bringing to this game, things that Bill Belichick brought, and I'm overall very disappointed with the offensive performance that I've seen so far with the play selection and the decision-making offensively from the Tennessee Titans. And maybe some of that is that we were a little bit too high on the new offensive coordinator coming out of the Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan lineage, or maybe part of it is just that Marcus Mariota is not as good as a lot of people are making him out to be. I am not sold on Marcus Mariota yet. I haven't seen anything to indicate to me that he's going to be a great quarterback. Let's just put it that way. He still has time to get there, so I'm not going to write him off because of the OCs that he's worked with previously. I'm hopeful that he gets back on track and gets to that point, but I'm not seeing it so far right now, and I'm not seeing a lot of creativity or plus EV play calling out of this offense right now. I hope that they change over the latter half of the season. They need to change. It would be interesting to see what they decide to do against the Chargers in London, but I think they need to throw the football a little bit more often, especially on 1st and 10. And meanwhile, they're probably going to be gouged a little bit in the run game by Melvin Gordon and the Chargers rushing offense because it's just a great matchup for them. And guys, with that, that concludes the first week's video doing it this way on Friday afternoon, breaking down some of the more interesting matchups around the league for this upcoming weekend. If you guys like this video and want to see this happen again each week moving forward on Fridays, you need to do two things. Number one, search on YouTube for Sharp Football Analysis or search for Warren Sharp and subscribe to the feed. We need to get enough followers to make it worthwhile. So subscribe over at YouTube. That's number one. And number two, retweet this, share it, like it, favorite it on Twitter so that we can see your feedback and we can make sure that we continue to do these moving forward. These are things that I'm finding in my weekly analysis that I want to share with you. Some other people have probably mentioned these throughout the course of the week, but here we are using visualizations and free tools up at Sharp Football Analysis to get the point across in a visualized manner, make it very easy for you to understand it. Hopefully that will sit in your brain and digest a little bit better. But if you like it and you like this style, please, again, subscribe on YouTube as well as retweet and share this tweet on Twitter. Thanks a lot and good luck this weekend.